South Africa holds its breath, not for an earthquake, nor for a storm, but for a secret. A secret so dark and so carefully hidden that its sudden revelation now threatens to slice through the nation's fragile fabric like a blade through cloth. In the early morning hours, before dawn's light touched the horizon and while Pretoria still slept beneath the looming silhouette of the Union buildings, a single envelope made its quiet way to Parliament. Inside was no rumor, no whisper of gossip, but an affidavit, a document filled with names, dates, and transactions. A paper trail as sharp and cold as shattered glass. The author of this explosive document was Mkhwanazi, a fearless opposition leader renowned for exposing truths others dared not confront. This time, however, he hadn't just uncovered a headline, he had detonated a bomb. For decades, Jacob Zuma stood as the face of South Africa's most notorious scandals, state capture, tender corruption, and secret deals sealed in smoky back rooms while ordinary citizens queued for work and endured blackouts in the townships. Many believed Zuma's era of corruption had already been unearthed and exposed to daylight. Yet Mkhwanazi's revelation tells a far darker story. The skeletons, he claims, were never hidden, they were seated at the cabinet table itself. From Cape Town to Limpopo, the implications are chilling. Mkhwanazi's affidavit does not allege a mere political misstep. If true, it uncovers a shadow government, an underground network of businessmen, fixers, and politicians manipulating the levers of power while the nation slept. Deals were struck not for the people's benefit but to serve private interests, shaping everything from billion-rand contracts to national security decisions. Across Parliament's stone walls, the air vibrates with tension as hashtags ignite across phones and social media, #Zuma exposed, #Mkhwanazi bombshell. In townships, people gather around radios and TVs, heads shaking in disbelief. In suburban homes, WhatsApp groups overflow with anger and confusion. Is this the long-awaited moment of truth, or just another scandal swallowed by the system? No one knows how far the waves of this affidavit will travel. Could it topple powerful men, split the ruling party, or vanish like so many exposés before, leaving only bitterness in its wake? One thing is clear, South Africa is done waiting for answers. It is bracing for the impact. And as the nation holds its breath, one question rumbles like thunder before a storm: if Mkhwanazi is telling the truth, what else lies buried in the dark? The country trembles, not from nature's fury, but from a revelation powerful enough to tear at the seams of its democracy. What Mkhwanazi has unleashed is more than a breaking news story about dirty tenders and secret envelopes. His signed and sworn affidavit sketches the outline of a hidden power structure, an alternate system of governance, operating not in the bright halls of the Union buildings, but in smoke-filled rooms where South Africa's destiny was allegedly bought, sold, and decided. According to his documents, Zuma was not merely a beneficiary of corruption, he was its architect. The evidence suggests clandestine pacts with businessmen and politicians, secret decisions on cabinet appointments, manipulation of billion-rand contracts, and even potential compromises of national security. This is not just about greed, it's about domination. Control of the state. Control of the economy. Control over who ascends and who falls. If Mkhwanazi's claims are valid, it means that for years, the fate of the nation was not determined by elected leaders, but by Zuma's inner circle, a government within a government. And then came the eruption. Within hours of the revelations, hashtags like #Zuma exposed and #Mkhwanazi bombshell engulfed Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Outrage, disbelief, and a grim sense of déjà vu flooded every timeline. Outside government buildings in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban, spontaneous protests broke out. Handwritten signs read, "No more lies" and "Justice for South Africa." Crowds chanted for answers. Inside Parliament, chaos reigned. Opposition MPs banged on desks, demanding immediate investigations, impeachment hearings, and even criminal charges. Across the ANC benches, MPs sat in uneasy silence, some urging unity behind Zuma to preserve the party's image, others whispering that he had become a liability capable of sinking them all. Old wounds reopened, divisions deepened, and once again, Zuma's loyalists retaliated. They branded Mkhwanazi's claims as propaganda, a smear campaign driven by secret forces determined to destabilize South Africa and destroy a man who had already endured years of scrutiny. Yet their denials only fanned the flames. Citizens began to ask, why do Zuma's defenders always attack the messenger instead of confronting the message? What are they so afraid of? For millions of South Africans, this is not merely another political scandal, it is a deeply personal reckoning. It represents the unfilled potholes, the endless blackouts, the never-ending unemployment queues, and the growing chasm between struggling citizens and insulated elites. This time, the outrage cuts close to the bone because the betrayal feels personal. Political analysts are already calling it a watershed moment. Wits University professor Mkhwanazi told journalists that these revelations cut deeper than any before because they strike at the very heart of power. If proven, they suggest that South Africa's government was partially hijacked by undisclosed networks loyal to Zuma. The timing could not be more perilous. The nation is already buckling under load shedding, unemployment, and widespread poverty. Public faith in leadership is at a breaking point. Another Zuma-linked scandal, exposed so dramatically, could shake the political order to its core. If Mkhwanazi's claims are substantiated, they will not merely humiliate Zuma, they will redefine how history remembers him. His presidency would not be seen as flawed, but as fundamentally corrupt from its foundation. And for the ANC, this could mark the point of no return: back Zuma and lose the people, or abandon him and risk fracturing the party. Behind closed doors, whispers spread of an emergency meeting among senior ANC officials, no cameras, no journalists, just quiet panic. The agenda: how to contain the Mkhwanazi bombshell before it ignites a full-blown uprising. The storm has begun to gather, and South Africa, once again, stands at the edge of revelation and reckoning.